Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and having patience. Oh, this video has been taking me a while. Anyways, I do it with love. We're going to discuss this persistent rumor of James Hewitt being just Harry's father. And it is persistent, you guys. I got an article today from Mamma Mia, or yesterday, I apologize. And it just blew my socks right off. And honestly, you guys, I don't know what to believe because we know the RF will lie to protect their own. You know what I'm saying? So let's just get into it. There is tons of stuff. I'm going to read the article, but the slideshow I'm going to put on while I'm reading it. It's going to be them being happy, not happy, then James and just Harry in comparison. So that was a mouthful. Let's get started. James Hewitt had every reason to lie. He stained the British royal family. When Diana became pregnant during a period of time when she was not with Charles and Hewitt was told, he became frantic. First, he was in a panic to save his military career. He failed. And second, to not become a public pariah. Fact. Hewitt was assigned to the Household Guard Cavalry at the Royal Mews at Buckingham Palace in January of 1981. In July of 1981, he rode in the wedding procession of Charles and Diana. Hewitt also rode in every Trooping of the Colour each June from 1981 to 1984. He was well known to the entire BRF for his work at the Royal Mews since they all cared about horses. Fact. The BRF's hobby obsession is equine in nature. Some care about breeding, others betting or riding for pleasure or Olympic training and competition, carriage riding, carriage racing, flat racing, steeplechase, and at least 3 of them play polo. All cared for horses, except Diana. Fact. Diana had been acting out badly in family settings when the topic of horses came up, which was often. They were a large family with outspoken members. But then Diana started acting out in public, being seen pouting and looking bored and yawning when Charles was playing polo, even leaning against Charles' Aston Martin. So the Queen waited until little Prince William was a full year old. That's how they did it in those days, which was July of 1983. And that's when she requested Diana take riding lessons. The Queen's thinking was sound. She thought that if Diana got to know a bit about horses, she would be more interested and not so hostile in family discussions and less impatient with Charles while he was playing polo. The Queen considered her employees and decided James Hewitt had the right qualifications and was around Diana's age, and he would be a good instructor to teach Diana to ride. Hewitt was agreeable, so she hired him and paid him in the summer of 1983 to begin teaching Diana to ride. The Queen also made arrangements that Diana would go to Hewitt's stables, next door to the home he shared with his widowed mother, Shirley Hewitt, and not use the Royal Mews at Buckingham Palace for her lessons. This was so that Diana would have privacy when she began to learn. The Queen knows her family and knew the various family members would tease Diana if they were at the Mews at the same time as Diana's lessons. Diana began her lessons at Hewitt's home as instructed beginning the end of August. She was pregnant before Christmas, so any stories that they never met until 1986 is a lie. They formally met when he started giving her lessons in 1983 while she knew him by sight for 3 years. Fact. Charles knew he had not been with Diana during the period when he learned her due date. However, he knew she was garbage with even simple math, so he waited until the child was born before having a better grasp of her date of conception. His suspicions were confirmed. Oh no, hey? Okay. How to find out which male had been alone with Diana during this period was the task remained. She was not forthcoming and insisted on an impossible lie that it was Charles's child, even when faced with incontrovertible evidence. They checked her calendar to get the names. That was easier than expected. There was only one male who had been alone with Diana on a regular basis, and that was a palace employee who had been hired to teach Diana to ride. Not only did they have the name of James Hewitt, but the child looked remarkably like him. Hewitt was promoted to keep him quiet the next month, October of 84, and transferred away from Buckingham Palace. It would have been awkward for family members to run into him at the Mews or in parades. Charles moved out of Kensington Palace and Diana had her boyfriends while still married to Charles, as did he. She often invited Hewitt for dinner and to stay and play with Harry and to give him a bath and to read him a story before bed. Who does that with a boyfriend? Any boyfriend who is giving baths to his son who is not his own would be considered very weird. There is no evidence that any other boyfriend other than Hewitt was ever allowed to give Harry his baths. Okay, I put that through twice so we can re-watch because it's so shocking. I'm going to pause on the picture that just blows my mind. Okay, so you guys, this is the picture. Like, honest to God, look at that side profile and tell me that doesn't look hella the same. No joke. It's not just the red hair, right? Oh my God. I know that Harry is upset and mad, cold father, blah, blah, blah. And I'm wondering if this has something to do with it. I'm not even kidding you guys, because of course they were going to lie. Of course they were. Oh, Lordy. So I have comments as well, but that's coming later on, because first I wanted to play just a couple minutes of Di's interview about all of this with the BBC. So we are going to get into that. So, that was just as incredible the first time I watched it, and now, and it's so sad to know she was duped into this, you guys, but I mean, her words were true, and you know what? She did not become unfaithful until, she knew it was over, impossible, that Charles was in love with Camilla. So I don't blame her one single bit. That is not what this is about whatsoever. However, that is how it goes. So I decided that instead of saying funny, I'm going to say commercial. We're going to have commercial breaks in my videos, and they are going to consist of funny things. I'm not monetized. I don't take ads, nothing. I'm too small. I could be, but I'm not. I don't care about that stuff. I just want to do this. I love doing this. So we are going to watch a quick parody, and then we're going to watch Charles's interview and see how he dances around the subject, whereas Princess Di just told it like it was.
But doesn't an alternate reality equate to a false reality? Therefore not true. See, I think that duality you've just posed is in itself bound up in the patriarchal, white supremacist intellectual superstructure. And I think it's used to upset the gods of wokeism.
Well, you don't want to upset them, I can tell you. I once dressed up as a Nazi.
Harry just says things sometimes.
I used to spend far too much time being happy to concentrate properly on my mental health. Mental health awareness of mental health.
I don't know how many times we've got to say this, but we were involved in a high-speed, 2-hour chase through the streets of New York City in a bright yellow taxi, followed by the paparazzi and their SUVs.
We find your lack of faith disturbing.
No. Once again, you misunderstand. I completely believe your otherwise difficult-to-believe story. I'm just putting forward the viewpoint of those who do not, and the reasons why they might not. I'll tell you why. Their bigotry knows no bounds.
Look, if I was white and Harry was blonde, right, then we'd be believed.
Right, but your desperate and over-the-top actions in recent years do suggest that you would be prepared to over-dramatize to remain relevant. Make a big scene just to stay newsworthy.
They faint. So he looks down a lot and that during this interview, and that's usually the sign of lying. I don't know, but he danced around the subject for a bit till he finally admitted it. Oh, what a disaster that was, you guys. I feel so bad for everybody involved, to be honest. Anyways, we're just gonna have a quick commercial break again because I want one.
Chapter 7, you talk about an incident that took place in the bathroom when Meghan first joined the family. Can you elaborate on that?
It was one of M's first nights in the palace, and they sent wipers for me and her.
Wipers?
Yeah, wipers for after you go poo.
Oh, geez, you have your own wipers.
Yes, so
Whoa.
they usually send 2 wipers per member of the family. Each one for my brother, my father, his wife. They all have 2 wipers, but for M, they sent 1 wiper. And it's hurtful.
Oh, God.
Most people wipe their own. If you look at the colour of toilet paper, it's white. There's certainly some unconscious bias there.
Harry, toilet paper has always been white.
Yes, so clearly it's systemic.
Oh, God.
Certainly a conversation that needs to be had.
I think you're grasping at straws here, dude.
I have to go.
You want me to send someone? Or two?
Okay, so this is Princess Di. These are all different matches, you guys. Giving him a kiss for his polo matches and and the trophy too. So this is how it's done, you guys. Okay, we know this. Oh yes, we had to put that in there because she did give him trophies for his polo, right? And then we have Kate, who lovely. She knows also as well how to do things. Yep, and look at that guy's face. Lord. Coming to Prince Harry's polo match with the doll. That's how it's done right there. Just wanted to watch some actually rare footage of Princess Di at a polo match. Now we get to watch Kate giving trophies to polo players, which is lovely. She's so pretty. She knows exactly, you know, it's not her. It's for this fella, not for her. Like, lovely, just beautiful, you know. That's how it's done. My Lord. Beautiful. And me again. Yep. These guys are not impressed. And what is she doing up there? She should, if she was giving the trophy, give it and go away. Like that. Oh my Lord. She's always got to be the center of attention, even if it's nothing to do with her. Okay, what a difference, hey? So I found this clip, you guys, and I am like, oh my God, everything's starting to come out. It is so awesome. So I am going to share this awesome clip with you guys and see what you think.
Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who supported her husband Thursday's charity polo game, had a very different occasion to a similar polo event 4 years ago that she attended with sister-in-law Meghan Markle. Meghan and Catherine looked to keep their distance from one another while supporting their husbands Prince William and Prince Harry at a charity polo match in 2019. On that day, they were at Billingbear Polo Club, Berkshire, to support William as well as Prince Harry and brought along their children for the afternoon. At the time, relations were said to be fraught between the prince's wives from the inception of Meghan's entry into the monarchy. It's now believed to have been an effort to put on a united front after months of disagreements between the two couples, including a row over bridesmaids' dresses and reported tension over Meghan's behaviour towards staff. It marked the first time the Sussexes and the then Cambridges had been seen together as families since Archie's birth. At the time, there'd been months of rumours of a rift between the two couples. The Sussexes had recently broken away from the Waleses and their joint Royal Foundation charity. It later emerged that they've taken one of the most distinguished aides with them. Reports also began to emerge that Meghan was very sensitive about being number 2 to Catherine. Royal author Tom Quinn claimed that during a time in the firm, Meghan rowed with Kensington Palace staff over getting the sort of attention that she deserved. And according to the authors of Finding Freedom, the standoffish episode at a charity polo match was a snapshot of Meghan and Catherine's cordial but distant rapport. Their relationship had reportedly struggled to move past the distant politeness of when they first met, according to Scobie. While the doting mothers were photographed next to each other with their children, the two appeared to barely exchange a word, the authors penned. In photographs from the event, Meghan, standing at a distance from Catherine and her family, cradled her newborn son and planted a tender kiss on his head. Meanwhile, the princess spent much of the match keeping her 3 children, who were racing around the pitch and chasing after a football, entertained. There was a rumour going around that Meghan had a shit fit. Harry was going alone and Catherine was going to be there, so she slung a baby and a receiving blanket in a car and tore out to the polo pitch, where she proceeded to prove she'd not only failed to bring any provisions for having a baby outside in the blazing sun for a long time, stroller, hat, eye protection, etc., but that she'd also failed to learn how to hold the baby before appearing in public with him, and thus looked like a total fool. The surprise that registered on Harry's face when he saw them was unmistakable. This whole event should be known as the polo match where Meghan first met Archie. And Meghan's dress isn't a breastfeeding dress. There aren't any bottles anywhere to keep him from dehydrating in the sun. Basically, here's the thing. A real mother knows that taking a baby that small out is a production. You've got to have a stroller with shade on it and a diaper bag with you at every moment at the very least. This is not the time when you just decide to go somewhere and freehold your newborn. Many believe that Meghan carried a doll to the polo game. The baby didn't move, always face turned to her right shoulder. Harry's friend was there, and he knew. Harry's pal, Charlie Gilks, and his wife, Annette, were at the polo match. In a photo, all their expressions are out of the ordinary. Annette's furrowed brow, Charlie's covered mouth. Those guys were looking askance because they could see she was holding a doll. That's why he's so shocked. And the wife was so confused. All the photos from that day show Archie's legs and feet in identical positions. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who's...
Holy moly, hey? Wow. It's amazing, you guys. It really is that this stuff is coming out. And look at that picture. Look at that picture. We all knew that was a fake doll. The expressions on their faces. I'm going to go to that and show that just do it over again. Okay, I just had to go back to that again. Honest to God, you guys, look at their faces. Look at that fella's face. He's like, what the hell? And we all said it back then, didn't we? There's no way a mom can go, without a diaper bag, without all this stuff. Like, she's just not thinking. Like, the baby didn't move. Oh, it's so crazy that people don't see this. Like the sugars. And by the way, guys, there's a sugar floating around here, so be careful. She got mad at my little sugar short there. Anyway, who cares? I don't care if they get mad. They can get mad. They got mad by themselves. They'll get over it by themselves. That's how I look at it. So, right now, we need a commercial break. So, let's have one.
Well, thanks for asking, Tom. And no, not many people ask if I'm okay. Not the nanny or the second nanny, not the chauffeur, not the gardener, not the taxpayers who paid for my home, not the people who helped me fly all over the place on jets. No one asks if I'm okay. I'm not okay. We're supposed not just to survive, but to thrive. Those things rhyme, so I know that they're right. And like I say to Harry, or as I call him, my golden ticket, we just exist, which is like pissed, which is what I am with the royal family. I've just been all the way around South Africa as a mum, as a sister, as a daughter, as the sister of a daughter, and as the wife of a daughter of a sister. And I've met and pretended to dance with women who've survived rape and kids with HIV and people who have nothing. And what I've come away with is really thoughts about myself and how, I didn't think this would be easy, but how it's not fair on me. It's all new. I'm a newlywed. I'm a new mum. It's hard being a newlywed and a new mum and being Meghan. So those things are tough. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, did you say wrap? We're done? Yeah, we're all finished? Okay, great. Thanks, Tom. I've got to go and post to Instagram. Got holidays to take. Wimbledon. Serena, Beyonce wants me on stage. I've got a front cover of Vogue to do. Okay, so I'm going to go do those things. All right, so remember, sad face. Okay, good, bye.
I love Katie. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that. It was in one of my really old videos that I took down, so I thought I would use it again because it was priceless. Anyway, I am now going to read some of the comments about that article, and they're very interesting. So let's just go. I remember reading about Diana staying at Hewitt's mother's house, tucked away in the Devon countryside many miles from London, without any reason being given why this should have happened. It didn't fit with the insistence that they hadn't even met until after Hasno was born. But if there are or were stables close by them, in my opinion, this would be a feasible scenario. The only photograph of Diana on a horse was taken when she was a child at Althorpe. She fell off or was thrown and lost all interest in riding after that. I can believe that the Queen might see riding lessons as the answer to everything because they were her passion. I'm undecided on this one, but it would certainly settle some serious issues around the line of succession, if true. Line of succession. Yes, I would make him Harry&LADY, and the Phantom kids are out. Maybe it's this knowledge that makes him hate the royals so much. Explains a lot. I too read that about her staying at Hewitt's mother, but that was after Harry's birth and when she was having her full-blown affair with him. Many royals aren't avid riders. I don't believe Sophie or Sarah, Fergie, are, and I think Sarah's father had something to do with the royal horses. I know Sophie was a horsewoman because she used to ride point to point where my parents lived in Kent. Can't say I've seen much about her and horses since those early days. You're right about Ronald Ferguson. He was the DOFE's polo manager and subsequently Prince Charles. I'm pretty sure KC had his suspicions from his reaction when Harry was born. Oh God, it's a boy. Apparently he wanted a girl, and it's got red hair. This is why J.H. is the most likely contender to be Harry's father, but as ginger genes are prevalent in Diana's family, it could be take your pick from any of the many men she had relationships with. Sadly for Harry, the questioning of his parentage and being mocked at school by his peers as Harry&LADY could be partly the reason for his mental health issues. And for being dim, many focus on looks when character and behavior are also genetically mediated. The RF all know. Wow, I thought that they meant after Harry's birth too. So he could be a contender for his father. Hewitt was around long before Harry. It all sounds highly plausible, and the resemblance between H and Hewitt is remarkable. But please explain how you came by this information about the Queen hiring Hewitt as a riding instructor for Diana? If that was without doubt, then the rest certainly falls into the highly probable category. Click on the article to read it. Huey has been around long before Harry. All this info, dates, and do-on have been published long time ago. Charles said to H, you never know who your father is. At last, somebody writes the truth. I have for years been asking why Charles, nor the late Queen, had put these rumors and speculation to bed by declaring the results of that blood test. I don't know if a blood test was taken, you guys. I'm not sure about that one, but they can't. It's as easy as that. To do so would take Henry out of the line of succession. Poor Megsy would become Mrs. Rachel Hewitt. Ha! As for the blow-up kids, there'd be plain old Archibald Hewitt and Betty Hewitt. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Would blow the entire game they are all currently playing out of the water. We're going to have a quick commercial break.
Because money, or moolah, is very close to our hearts. That's why we started up a charity, because we're always trying to raise some dosh. We are very, very passionate about money. Very passionate, In fact, I would say it was in the top echelon of things that were most important to me, important to Harry and I, but mainly me. I would say that, it's alongside, but maybe just a little bit below, something like, enforced equity and social justice programs. It's not as important as that, but it's a little bit higher than, say, love and family. Because money.
Can you believe this stuff? I don't know, you guys. To me, I'm at the point where anything is possible because they have, exposed so many things and what's lies and what isn't, and it's very, very surreal, actually. So if he was in Trooping of the Color and stuff, and there must be video evidence of this, then, oh my God. That could be one of the big reasons why, just Harry has so many problems. Now, this is just my opinion. I want everyone to know that. I don't know this is factual by any means. I'm just bringing to you what's out there. That's all I'm doing. And trying to make a video for you. So please just know that. Okay, so anyway. I also had questions that I the comments I'm going to read now, and it's very short, it's not long, because I had the same questions, like, why would they, love him so much or be grandma's favorite and all this if he had no royalty in him or whatever. Anyway, so someone addressed that in the comments, and that's why I thought I would read them out. And meanwhile, we're going to watch a slideshow where it's going to be, as you see in front of you, Diana's sons and their wives and their families. Now, how different they are, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Would she be proud of them? Like all of it. So basically, we're going to start off with the engagement. And we don't have a ton of pictures, guys. So don't I hope you're still having a fun time because this was running a bit long. I apologize. So anyway, yeah. From the engagement to the wedding, and it's going to compare all three of them because all three of them married princes, right? And it just makes sense to have them all in there because to me, William lost a mother too. You know what I mean? Like he did. And it shows the difference in how he dealt with it as to how just Harry, like their chaotic, crazy, lying life compared to, Princess Catherine and Prince William and their children and how wonderful and lovely it all is. And I also got one photo in there of them, the Cambridges with, the Wales now, sorry, with Grandpa, the king. And that to me is what, they would have wanted too, I would think, right? Like, Harry and Meghan. Well, I know Harry would have if this was all real. Like he must just feel like, oh my God, I don't know. Maybe he is just as nutty as she is. Who bloody well knows. Anyway, so I'm going to read just a few comments, go through this slideshow because to me it's really important. These are Diana's children. Whoever the parents are, they come from her, and they both dealt with her death so differently. And that's why I included all this. I mean, I guess I could have done just a shorter video, but I don't know. You guys let me know if you like longer ones because I'd really like to know because this one's going to run a bit longer. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Someone says, it is said that Harry was the late Queen's favorite. Why would he be her favorite? If that were true, he is totally not related by blood at all. Someone responded, it's possible that feeling guilty that they were all complicit in covering up the truth about his parentage, she showed compassion and kindness rather than favoritism. Which wouldn't surprise me. She was a lovely lady, right? And then someone says, who says H was her favorite? H? Someone else, it's often been reported, however, I find it hard to believe a mother, grandmother, or even the father or grandfather can have favorites. And someone, oh no, there is always a favorite in every family. If you have two boys or two girls, it could create a conflict. One is smarter, one is slower, and so on. Better to have one of each. Considering what a gigantic disappointment Harry is as a human being, it must be an enormous relief to the BRF to know that he is biologically not one of them. Hallelujah. Okay, so I have just a few little clips, and they're like 10, 15 seconds long. So bear with me as we go through them very quickly. But really, first I wanted to start just showing Princess Diana getting Humanitarian of the Year award and how humble she was and the difference between her and the wife her son decided to choose. So, yeah.
To say a sincere and heartfelt thank you for this award. It is humbling to receive it and to know that some of you seated here tonight feel that I should be honored in this way.
Oh, and I also wanted to circle back a bit on the slideshow, because what I was showing was the difference in families. Like, look at the photos we got from Meghan and just Harry. I mean, they were all either blurry, photoshopped, you see the back of them, whatever. I only choose like 4 each. It was really quick, I know, but that's what we get. Now, when Prince William, Princess Catherine give us photos. It's lovely. They're real children. You see them grow each year, and it's lovely. And then I wanted to show Princess Di, of course, with her children and her family, and how different these women are. And wow, I cannot believe Meghan actually thought she would get away with this, you guys. Like, we can see right through this crap. It's so unbelievable. So anyways, I have next, a little commercial break. And then after that, we're going to finish up with looking at Diana's daughter-in-laws really quickly. And then that's it. So let's get to it.
You remember that party when you dressed up like the bad war man?
Yeah.
Well, The Crown are going to feature it in an episode.
Oh no.
So I changed your wardrobe a bit.
To what?
It's all 30s and 40s Hugo Boss.
That's a good brand.
It's got a few skull and crossbones on.
Rock and roll.
And the only word you can say when we're out is Hitler.
How do you like him?
But you got to think about the future, innit, Harry? Think about The Crown, season 20, the coronation. You turn up like a bad war man. Who are they going to focus on? Will? Kate? Nah. Charles? They won't even know who he is. They're going to focus on you. And then me. And I'll show them my book. And they say, oh, what a lovely book. I go, yes, it's a lovely book. And then go tell me all about the book. And I'll tell them about the book. And I'll tell them about the uniform. And, oh, Harry, you've only got flushies, Harry. Take me away. Take me away.
You might need help.
Okay. So, yep, this one's going to be a bit longer, you guys. I hope you're still with me. Okay. I have a very, very short slideshow with comparing Princess Kate to Princess Diana to Meghan and Princess Diana. Just to show their differences, because those are her daughter-in-laws, like they are. Unfortunately for one of them. And what I wanted to show also, which is why there was so much secrecy and stuff back then and everything too, and now too, is the paparazzi and how they dealt with it so differently. And I have clips of each one and how they dealt with it. And it's quite shocking to see the difference. Like, it's one thing to talk about it, you know what I mean? But to actually see the difference, it's just mind-blowing, to be honest. Anyways, these are very, very short clips, like 30 seconds, 15-second type things. I want to show those. And then we will have another commercial break. And then I think that'll be it. Okay, so let me start that slideshow. This is why Meghan hates Catherine, I believe. So I just decided to put one of her and one of our lovely Princess Catherine, and then one of her. And of course, they're all with our Princess Di too. So, yeah. You can see it in their eyes. Like, look at this one. There's nothing there, you guys. Like, blank. Unbelievable. That picture actually kind of shook me because it really looked freaky. This one too. It's just really freaky. Like, she doesn't have that sparkle, you know, like, although Markle sparkle, but she doesn't have it. So this is Princess Diana when the paparazzi, she's crying. She couldn't even watch Polo. Totally the opposite of me again. Like, unbelievable, the stark difference. I don't see how Harry can even think they're similar in any way, you guys. It just is mind-boggling. She has, like, hypnotized him or something, because she is nothing like Diana. Nothing. Here's another time. She was so smart. She wanted, like, honestly, could you imagine me again doing this? Absolutely not. Not a question. So, yeah, like, here is Kate now, Princess Catherine, and she hated it. Oh my God, she could not get out of there fast enough. And this is when they first started dating, right? Do you remember Meghan, what she was like when her and Harry started dating? Absolutely nothing like this. Oh no, she was out there just beaming away, being crazy. Oh my God. And here's me again in her interaction with the Paps that she calls herself absolutely, completely, 1,000% different than those other ladies in every way. Oh my God. And here she is again, just absolutely making sure she's the center of attention, not hiding it whatsoever. Oh my God. Like, seriously. I love this one because it's so simple, but it's everything, right? Meghan could only hope to be able to do this. Like, oh my God. I love this one. Yeah, totally shows the difference.
And my husband H, we had just landed in England, and I was confused because Julie Andrews was late to meet me. And so I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and then I sort of realized that Julie Andrews wasn't late. Julie Andrews was never coming. And, you know, as an American, I just assumed that Miss Andrews would, teach me everything about the royal family, but, like, in the Princess Diaries. But I didn't even get to meet the Princess of Genovia.
Okay, guys, we are finally at the end. So basically, to wrap it all up, we don't know for sure, honestly, we don't, about James Hewitt. I mean, things point to that. There's been lies, innuendos, rumors, all kinds of stuff. And I don't know if we'll ever know. And you know what? I know that Harry has said it before and brought it up, and that it's caused him issues and whatever. And I don't know. Then why don't they just get a blood test? Do you know what I mean? But I think I know why. Because God forbid it did come out the wrong way. Well, Harry would lose everything now, wouldn't he? And that would just be an absolute friggin' travesty for him. So, that's that for that. And then, basically, I guess I kind of got carried away. Because I brought in, these 3 women that all married princes. And how different they were. And, because they're sisters-in-laws and mother-in-law and daughter-in-laws. And how different William turned out as opposed to Harry, and he went through the exact same thing. I think it's a state of mind, you want to be a victim, you're going to be a victim, and that's just that. So anyways, I had remembered that we had started the highlights that Sam put out for himself, his own highlights he thinks are the best, right? And we still had some to go. So I was like, perfect, because I love Sam, and I will laugh my butt off. I know it. So anyways, I'm going to say my goodbye. Thank you so much for sticking around. Please let me know if you guys like this longer thing, or you'd like me to go back to like 20, 25 minutes or whatever. Because I can do both. This is just kind of an experiment of sorts, I suppose. So, okay. I am going to say have a great night, and I will see you guys in the next one, and let's just enjoy Sam and have a laugh.
Continuing on with our questions from viewers, Anne-Marie McMayweather from Windlesham would like to ask, returning to the Time magazine front cover, why you, Harry, agreed to make yourself look so weak, insignificant, and made of plasticine.
What? You mean in comparison to my Meghan and her strength and significance? Big crime.
Yes, but you have to admit, you wore black, sat with one feeble arm resting on her shoulder, with her standing in front of you, and your face photoshopped out of the realm of the animate. I wore white, to stand out, which will be a boost for all the women out there, a strong message.
Yeah. And I was part of that.
I didn't want women and girls to think of men as their protectors, so I didn't let Harry's left arm or hand come around my waist or my shoulder. I just let him dangle there, like a giant ginger epaulet, which makes him look weak and insignificant in comparison, which is not an attack on Harry. I mean, he's great.
Yeah, right.
But an important redressal are the ingrained stereotypes. But how do you reply to those who say that even the mere suggestion of such an explanation in response to your half-brother's criticism suggests most strongly that you're penning your reply whilst locked inside the microwave oven of narcissism? It has been suggested that your Netflix documentary may be released as early as next month. Yeah. I'm excited. Oh, yeah. Very excited. That is, if excited meant terrified. Yeah, Liz Garbus, the filmmaker, she was very much, in charge, right? Oh, yeah. Nothing got past Liz. She controlled the whole, tone of the documentary. Hell-bent on pushing her own narratives. Yeah, so some of the stories, may not be quite, how we would have told them. You can't blame us. Nothing to do with us now. Basically. Yes, Meghan, I heard about your crafty attempt to distance yourself from the documentary before it's even been released, leading many of us to assume it's going to be pretty scandalous. Yeah, we have to wait and see. All I want to say is Liz Garbus, and her team were running things.
Yeah.
Liz Garbus. Yeah, that's Gubaras. No, it isn't. Yeah, well, the important thing is that Liz did it. That's right. Yeah, but all in all, it's one of those things that, after a few months, everyone will be able to sit down and have a good laugh about. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, I can really see that happening.